Found explicit photos on my boyfriend's phone and discovered he had been dating another woman while we were together. So we confronted him at his house and she punched him in the face. Now he begging for counseling and another chance. I'll try to keep this as short as possible. Boyfriend of 2 years, we have had a wonderful, fun, caring and kind relationship. He has a son and I have 2 children. They have all met and are all friends. We had been talking of moving in together, as in buying a house together, as we would need a place that has enough room for everyone. Yesterday morning, I can't find my phone, which happens frequently. I ask him to call my cell, which he does, and it keeps ringing until it goes to voicemail. He gets distracted with the kids. I find my phone and I go back to retrieve his phone, which is still unlocked. Let me note here, I have never looked at his phone. I have never suspected the need to. Well, it's open and a message comes through of X from someone named Paula as I am picking the phone up to return it. I don't know a Paula and his friends/family, of which I have met all of them. In fact, my children and I spent all of Christmas with his family and extended family, which was amazing and fun. So, of course, my stomach flips. I open it, and I'm smacked with nude pics, graphic detail, dick pics from him, this Paula. I have to stop and go hide in the washroom so I can take screen photos of this with my phone. I scroll through as fast as I can because maybe I'm wrong? This is old stuff maybe? I'll read it later. I turn his phone off after taking about 7 photos without reading the dates or comments and give it back to him. He has to leave for hockey practice, so he takes off. I finally sit down and read this stuff. It's awful. Clearly this is someone he is fooling around with. Dates/times match up with when I'm not with him, when he is supposed to be out with his friends from the team and or when he's doing mundane life stuff as in groceries or laundry. He's been meeting this woman during the times he is not with me. Let me make that clear. As I read through, I discover she is also a mother and lives somewhat near me. Thank God I don't know her, and they slept together on Valentine's Day, about 2 hours before I went over to his to a home-cooked meal, candlelight, music, dancing and of course a lot of sleeping with each other. I am shaking at this point, so I thought, well, if this was me I would want to know. So I calmly call the number at the top of the screen. I'm already under the impression she doesn't know about me, as her texts to him seem as though they are in a full-on relationship. One of the texts is thanking him for being such a good influence on one of her sons who adores him, but I digress. I call her, I ask if she knows him. Yes, of course, and then I gently break it to her on his GF, and we have been together for 2 years. She bursts out crying, of course. Didn't know about me. She's sorry, I'm sorry too. We agree to meet while Sir is at hockey. Once we do, we compare timelines. She started dating him the same week I did. So, yes, he's been cheating on me for 2 years. It comes to light he had been pulling away from her for about the last year, which is kind of logical. That's when I became part of the family. Kids met each other, we started traveling together, etc., etc. But he never ended things. It turned into more of a FWB relationship, but might I add, they only use the pill as birth control, and since we've been together so long and I can't get pregnant anymore, we have been bareback. So yes, my loving boyfriend also was putting my health at risk. Yes, I'm going to the doctor tomorrow to get tested. So we decided to confront him. His son would not be home for rest of afternoon. Bless you, birthday parties. So I went over first and left the front door unlocked. Started making tea and waited for the GF to show up, and boy did she. She burst through the door, punched him right in the face and laid into him something fierce. I was shaking violently. I was so upset listening to her give him hell for leading him on, for using her, for lying to her for 2 years. And what did Mr. Wonderful say? Nothing. He apologized but had no excuses. It was a gong show. Anyway, she left. Once I picked her up off the floor as she was sobbing uncontrollably. And I sat with him and waited for him to explain it. Still nothing. He can't explain it. He doesn't know why he didn't stop it. He can't understand why he would hurt me/us so badly. Since I wasn't getting anywhere with him, I figured the best thing to do would be to tell him to fess up to his family. When his son came home, he told him what he had done, and of course his son was gutted. I had to console the poor little guy. His parents live close by, so I went with him and his son and watched him admit everything to both his parents, who were floored and both cried. Now that I am over the shock, here is my question. I do love this man. We have had an amazing time together and I've never felt more honest with a person. I completely trusted him and he ruined us. He has suggested over and over we go to counseling together. I don't really see how counseling will help him not lie to me/chase after someone if he gets bored with me, since obviously I wasn't enough for him or he would have stayed faithful. I also don't see how counseling will help me give him another chance. I'm looking for suggestions. People, in your experience with cheating partners, has counseling helped? Comments where Op has replied. Comment 1. Your entire relationship has been a lie. What could you even possibly save? What would counseling do? There was literally never a time your so wasn't cheating on you. Honestly, I don't see how you could even move on from this, or why you would want to. Drop this guy and find someone who wants to be with you and only you. Oop, totally agree, but I'm just so floored this happened. Maybe I can't see the whole picture, although I really think yes I can, and thought I would ask all the nice sensible people on here to just double check. Smile. Comment 2. You go to counseling for small lapses or bad judgment calls. When the entire relationship is essentially one giant bad call, then it's not even worth saving. There wasn't ever a moment where he wasn't cheating on you. How can you rebuild trust when it literally never existed to begin with? Comment 3. No. He was lying the whole time. You can never trust him again. He needs to take his son to counseling. So messed up that he had to get involved in this. Oop, well exactly. It comes out that the son had met the other woman and her children several times the first year. So this wonderful amazing little guy has had to keep his mouth shut and lie to me as well for 2 years. I'm beyond upset. Update. So after my post, several of you lovely people explained not to get back together with him. I completely agree. However, there was some unfinished business over the course of 2 weeks. I've been talking to his ex, who of course was in pieces. I told her she needed closure, so I suggested to my ex he meet up with her. Even offered to watch his son so they could meet. He said he would be an hour tops. It was 2 hours. I found out after that they did met up and sat in her car and talked. He claims nothing happened, but I don't care at this point. I've spoken to her since and she's thankful I set that up so she could say goodbye to him. Unfinished business number 1 done. I've talked to his son a fair bit over the last 2 weeks. He understandably has a lot of trust issues. Talking with my ex, he has set up therapy to also include his son, and I've encouraged his son at length to speak his mind during these sessions. I've talked with him and with my ex's mother present, who also agreed to this, so I feel comfortable now that he will somehow be able to advocate for himself going forward. Unfinished business number 2 done. But now I have unfinished business number 3 to deal with. The ex texts me every day. He's shown up on my doorstep and we have talked at length about the betrayal and how inconsiderate he is to me. Promises all over the place about how he will never cheat on me again and how he will put me first and will be considerate to my feelings, blah blah blah. Flash forward to today. His son asked me to go to his hockey practice. I'm feeling good and think I can handle being around the ex, who is a coach, so he will be on the ice so I don't have to talk to him. So I agree. I drove the 20 minutes and sat there enjoying myself. They get off the ice and go get changed. The ex and the son are together and we meet up in the atrium. Son asks his dad for a hot chocolate. Sure, why not? The ex then proceeds to buy himself a coffee and his son a hot chocolate. I'm standing there like an idiot. No offer for me. No thought of if I want something from the canteen. And it hit me. This is what my life would be like if I stay with him. I'll never be thought of, I would be an afterthought. No, I didn't need anything from the canteen, that's not the issue. I stepped up to be there for his son and he can't even think of me or my needs. I hugged his son goodbye. I told him if he needs anything to send me a text. I said goodbye to the ex and walked away. For all I know, he's still standing there wondering what just happened. I've deleted him from my phone. I can't have contact with him. I don't have the heart for it yet, but I'll cut ties with his family on social media, as I don't want the reminders of the life I could have had but was in fact all a lie. This is all just to say thank you for the advice on here. I've never been in this situation and I hope I never am again. Next story. Boyfriend and I always joke around with bathroom humor, but when he spent 15 minutes in the bathroom playing on his phone, I sent him a funny poop sticker as a joke. He kicked me out of his house at night because he said I disrespected him. This is my first relationship and I honestly don't know what to think about what just happened. First of all, my boyfriend Greg, 21M, and I, 21F, have pretty immature senses of humor and always have. We like to tease each other a lot and commonly partake in body humor. Like we'll joke around if one of us farted, or after a night out at dinner, we'll drive home and pretend to be in labor and call dibs on the bathroom to deliver our food babies, aka poop. It sounds so childish typing it out, but we have a lot of fun and are very comfortable with each other. Also, we have never had a fight before and communicate openly about things, but have never had a real problem to communicate about. Tonight I was at his place to marathon Netflix. Greg got up to go to the bathroom and I asked him if I should pause it, aka would he be taking a long time. He answered no, so I figured he was just going to go pee. However, 15 minutes later he still wasn't back from the bathroom. No problem, I got up to make myself a snack. On the way to the kitchen, I walked past the bathroom and heard the sounds of an app that Greg and I commonly play on our phones. I thought this was pretty funny. On Facebook there are sticker sets to use in the chat feature, which are basically like unique emojis. One of the sets feature an anime-looking poop character and his toilet paper friend. No idea why someone made this, but I think it's quite funny and kind of cute. One of the stickers is of the poop character sitting on a toilet, looking intently at his phone, so I playfully sent this to Greg. Me, poop sticker of playing on a phone. Me, you right now tongue him. Wow. I laughed to myself, put my phone away, made my snack, and went back to the living room. Greg came out and we continued to watch Netflix. However, I noticed he was being physically distant, not putting his arm around me, not sitting close to me on the couch. However, I gave him his space. He was quiet for about 20 minutes. Then he said, "Do you have a friend that you could get to take you home?" I literally did not know what he was talking about. I said, "What?" And he repeated what he'd said. I asked him what was wrong, but he wouldn't answer for a while. I asked him if he was upset with me and he said, "I just can't believe you did that. That was just really upsetting." I said, "What are you talking about? You mean the sticker?" Him. Obviously. I was stunned. I had no idea why he was so offended or what exactly I had done wrong, but I immediately apologized. I said, I am so sorry that I offended you. I had no idea. That was not my intent at all. I was just joking. Could you tell me what about that upset you so I don't do it again in the future? Greg flipped out and said I was retarded if I couldn't see what I did wrong. He said there was something wrong with me and that I had the mentality of a fucking child. I was really hurt by this and asked if he seriously wanted me to leave. He said yes, and I asked if he was going to drive me home. I had ridden with him and didn't have my car. He said no, because why would he after what I just did? I was so pissed off that I stormed out of the house. Keep in mind that this was 11 p.m. in a crappy part of town. None of the buses were running and I felt too ashamed to call my friends, so I walked all the way home. Nothing happened, but I'm so mad he would force me to walk home by myself in a shady area just because of this. And he showed no concern for me whatsoever. So now I'm sitting here, fuming. I'm actually considering ending things over his huge overreaction, because he refuses to talk to me and explain what's going on. He keeps saying, "You should know." Then he said, "Whatever, I'm going to bed," and cut me off. Reddit, what is going on? Can anyone shed light on this? Is this even worth trying to salvage? I find his rage at this and refusal to communicate very immature. To the point where I almost don't want to be in a relationship with him anymore. Like if he'll send me out in the cold for this, is he going to leave me on the side of the road next time we disagree on something? I'm so confused. He has never reacted like this or gotten mad at anything before. I just don't think I did anything really bad. However, this is my first relationship, so if I'm in the wrong, let me know. Thanks. Update, thank you everybody for the advice and support. Just to clarify from the last post, I literally only sent Greg the poop sticker and the "you right now" P. So I'm sure I didn't accidentally write or send anything else, and I sent that through a private chat with only me and him. I did not post it to his wall or through a group chat. Though even if I did, I wouldn't really see a reason for extreme offense. Anyway, I hope that answers some posters' questions. After taking today to think about it and talking it over with my best friend, I decided to follow my instinct, and the advice of everybody here, and break up with Greg. He didn't contact me at all since he abruptly cut me off last night, and after he posted a picture of having a grand old brunch with his buddies on Facebook, I decided enough was enough. He didn't seem to have any remorse and it really stung to see how few shits he gave about me. Unintended? I messaged him, "You're a shitty person. We're over. Don't contact me again." And blocked him on Facebook. Sorry I wasn't brave enough to use the brilliant responses some people suggested. The dump and turd puns were great, but I couldn't bring myself to do it. I was too mad. After I changed my relationship status and deleted our couple pics, I got several calls from Greg. I debated just blocking his number as well, but my curiosity got the best of me, so I picked up. I was met with dead silence. He was really pissed at me. I said, "Hello?" in an impatient way, and he said, "This is really how you're going to do this?" We had an argument where we were basically just shouting and blaming each other, with me mostly defending my decision to break up and him saying I was a bitch for throwing away a good relationship on a whim. I pointed out that I'd been willing to work it out with him and try to fix whatever it was that I'd done wrong, but it was his unwillingness that made me think it wasn't worth it. After about 40 minutes of arguing, Greg started to realize that I was really serious and this wasn't just a tactic to get his attention, and he started getting genuinely upset. He said, "Please don't break up, we are so good together." Which was actually hard for me to hear because up until this point, we have had a really great relationship. So I started to feel really bad. However, I kept thinking about how I'd never trust him with my safety again and how galling it was that he hadn't been concerned about me or my well-being until he'd noticed we were now broken up. Also how surprised I'd been by his anger and name-calling. I'd never seen that side of him before and no longer trusted who I thought he was. So I tried to stand firm. Long story short, we talked/argued for a while longer and Greg thought that talking about the problem would be enough to get me to stay with him. So he confessed. And it was really stupid, in my opinion. Basically, about a week ago, I hung out with Greg and his buddies. We are both gamers and they were having a game night and asked me to come along. The attitude of that whole group is to trash talk each other and playfully rib each other, especially while gaming. So that night when we were playing games, I joined in on the trash talk. None of it was mean-spirited. To me it was just take some of that. Yeah. Eat it. Type stuff, but apparently Greg felt embarrassed because I beat him a few times in front of his friends and gloated about it. This was my bad, but everybody was making a huge show of gloating and peacocking after every victory, so I thought this wasn't out of the ordinary if I also did it. I thought it was just part of the fun, but in hindsight it was probably weird and I probably should have acted differently. Also, they kept making comments like, "Wow, you're basically dating a dude and you know your girlfriend is basically just like a girl version of," name of dude in their group, to Greg, because they were surprised that I was willing to have frank discussions about certain topics, like poop, sex, etc. I got the vibe they didn't spend that much time around girls because they were acting so surprised every time something like that came up. It was like that mentality of, "Whoa, girls don't fart or acknowledge farting. This is weird." I brushed it off, but I guess afterwards Greg's friends kept teasing him about that night and made some assertions that I was too manly and that I didn't, or wouldn't, respect him. Because I was manlier than him? And also because I'd been beating him/peacocking about it? I'm not entirely clear, but he made it clear that a lot of mocking was going on. So I guess this has been festering inside Greg ever since then and making him insecure. The poop sticker thing sent him overboard because he thought I was making fun of him because I didn't respect him. He interpreted it as me calling him a fat pile of shit and thinking I could get away with that. His words, it's still not entirely clear to me. He didn't do a great job of explaining it and was very frustrated that he had to articulate his feelings. I wasn't impressed. I will probably get flack for this, but I didn't feel very much empathy about this problem and thought it was kind of ridiculous and stupid. If Greg had brought this up to me at any point, we could have had a discussion about it and I would have toned it down, though I disagree that my behavior being manly was somehow something for him to get insecure about. Unattractive, okay, I could see it. But it seemed like it was being turned into an emasculation thing by his friends, and it's hard for me to wrap my head around that. It feels almost red pilly, but I don't know enough about it to really say that. I don't really know how I feel. Anyway, I personally didn't think it was something for him to have such a strong reaction about, and it was a problem that could have easily been talked over if it had bothered him so much. I still didn't think it was anything worth kicking me out and ignoring me for, or name-calling. Nothing is worth that, emo. But again, this is my first relationship. I'm probably just being selfish and pissed off. Regardless, it's over now. I told Greg he needed to grow up, but it wasn't going to be with me. His reaction was extremely immature and irrational. He acknowledged that, but was still angry at me for one, insulting him with a sticker and not showing him respect, even though we've always teased each other. I guess this goes back to the trash talking, and two, for wanting to break up. He said give it a few days to think about it, but I firmly said I didn't want to date him anymore. He said his friends were right and I was actually a cunt who didn't care about him or respect him. I hung up. He's been calling me some more, but I'm going to go see Inside Out with my friends and feel some feels and not worry about him again. I guess we both did some things wrong and we both need to do some maturing, but for now I don't feel too bad. I'm still pretty pissed off, but surprisingly not that sad for my first breakup. Maybe it will hit tomorrow. Or maybe I'll find a debonair professorial type at the movies who will teach me how to have an adult relationship and let me send him poop stickers. Anyway, thanks for the support, Reddit. I feel better.